Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. The message came at 11:42 p.m., lighting up the ceiling with a pale blue glow. If you ever left him, would you finally be happy? It wasn't meant for me. My wife had fallen asleep beside me with her phone still in her hand, the screen tilted just enough for the words to breathe in the dark. For a long time I didn't move. I just listened, to the slow rhythm of her breathing, to the hum of the refrigerator down the hall, to my own pulse climbing into my throat like it wanted to escape before the truth arrived. I told myself not to look again. Then I looked again. The name at the top of the screen wasn't saved. Just a number. No emojis. No history visible. Clean. Careful. My first instinct wasn't anger. It was confusion followed quickly by something worse. The quiet realization that this question didn't appear out of nowhere. Questions like that grow in hidden places. They take time. The next morning she joked about leaving me. We were at brunch with her friends, sunlight pouring through the cafe windows, making everything look softer than it really was. Someone complained about their husband forgetting an anniversary, and my wife laughed loud and easy. Honestly, she said, sipping her coffee, sometimes I think about just disappearing, starting over somewhere warm. No husband, no responsibilities. Everyone laughed. I laughed too. Because that's what you do when the person you love turns your life into a punchline in public. But something inside me went very still. Like a door closing quietly in another room. Her joke was loud. My response was silence. And silence, I would learn, is where truth begins to echo. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead I watched. She started taking her phone everywhere, even to the shower where she'd never cared before. She angled the screen away when texting. She began staying late at work, always with reasonable explanations that sounded practiced, like lines memorized in advance. I told myself I was imagining it. That love required trust. That suspicion was uglier than betrayal. But doubt is patient. It waits until small details line up like teeth in a zipper. One night she fell asleep on the couch. Her phone buzzed against the cushion between us. I shouldn't have picked it up. I know that. But betrayal had already entered the room. I was just turning on the light. There were months of messages. Not explicit. Not dramatic. Just intimate in a way that belongs to marriage and nowhere else. I wish I met you first. Talking to you feels like breathing. He wouldn't understand. That last one stayed on the screen the longest. He. Not my name. Just a role. I didn't cry. Not then. Some pains are too precise for tears. They cut clean, leaving only numbness behind. The memories started shifting after that. Our vacations felt staged. Her smiles looked rehearsed. Even the way she said, "I love you," began to sound like a sentence translated from a language she no longer spoke. I kept asking myself the same question. When did I stop being enough? And the more I asked, the more I realized something terrifying. I had been trying to earn love that was already promised to me. The confrontation happened on a Tuesday. Nothing cinematic. No shouting. No broken glass. She was folding laundry. I was standing in the doorway holding her phone, my hand steady in a way that didn't feel human. "I know," I said. 2 words. Soft. Final. Her shoulders dropped before she even turned around. Like she'd been carrying the truth for months and was relieved someone else finally lifted it. She didn't deny it. That hurt more than any lie. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she whispered. I nodded because betrayal always says that. Like intention matters more than outcome. "Do you love him?" I asked. The pause told me everything. Her silence was louder than any confession. Tears came then. Not dramatic ones, just quiet streams she kept wiping away like they were inconveniences instead of evidence. "I never meant to hurt you," she said. And for the first time anger finally arrived. Not explosive. Just steady and clear. "You didn't mean to," I said. "You just chose to." We talked for hours. About loneliness. About routine. About the slow ways marriages can starve without either person noticing. She wasn't a villain. Just human. Weak in the exact places trust requires strength. And somehow that made it harder. Because anger is easier than understanding. Hatred is easier than grief. The end wasn't loud. No slammed doors. No final speeches. Just two people sitting on opposite sides of a couch that suddenly felt miles wide. "I'm sorry," she said one last time. I believed her. And that was the saddest part. Because apologies don't rebuild what secrecy slowly destroys. Weeks later, I moved into a small apartment across town. The silence there was different. Not heavy, not sharp, just honest. For the first time in months, I could breathe without wondering who she was texting. I could sleep without glowing screens in the dark. I could exist without competing for a place that was already given away. And somewhere in that quiet, I understood something I wish I'd known sooner. Love isn't proven by how much pain you can endure. It's proven by the moment you finally choose yourself. Her joke about leaving me had been loud, careless, public, easy. But my response, walking away without hatred, without revenge, without begging, was louder in the only place that mattered. Silence. And in that silence, I found the first real sound of my life beginning again.